When I came to high school, my brother was in grade 12, so a lot of people already knew who I was. So it was like, oh no, like people are watching, or there's like an expectation, like, oh, now I have to go to class because I don't want to get caught, or now I have to join this club because that's what like people would expect like someone popular to do.
I knew Daniela through her brother. Her older sibling went actually here. And she was always, right from the get-go, was one of those sort of presences within the school, or certainly had that confidence. She continued to be involved, certainly for a rugby program, and she was involved in our fashion show as well too.
Being the director of fashion show, because it is run mostly by students and entirely except for 2 staff advisors, everyone's looking up to you for answers and you for decision making and things like that. You have to be like a party planner, an event planner at the age of like 16, 17, and just kind of have to be a boss almost to your peers. So it's a little stressful because you're like, you're still my friend, but I need you to finish that on time.
Our fashion show is much more dance-oriented, theme-oriented, so she liked performing and she also liked to take charge. I saw the natural progression for her to take more leadership, which also then became more pressure on her, more expectations, more sort of dealing with things I think that escalated sort of her struggles with confidence or her insecurities. And then also in terms of the pressure about trying to coordinate a group of up to 100, 120 young people.
I had to give a 5-minute speech at the end, which I was not looking forward to. And Dale was like, at the end of the day, you need to just acknowledge who helped you, acknowledge how this is all possible, and then just breathe and talk. Dale and I would mostly focus on like a 1, 2, 3 kind of mental break. Like, you know, whenever you're feeling anxious and you have to talk in front of someone or make an announcement, just count to 3, think, is my message going to be portrayed in a positive way? And he would just say, how are you feeling today? What's on your mind? And just let me talk. He just listened.
It gets really hard sometimes in terms of just life in general, in terms of when you see people at a younger age and they've learned some skills and they go off into the other eras of their life, and there's new stressors and new expectations and new pressures.
School's fun and all, but coming to school to go play a game or see your friends or go to dance practice or something, it's just fun. It's that stuff that gets your mind off of all the petty drama in high school. Every time I face a situation now, I'm like, remember that time when I was 17 and thought everything was the worst? Well, now I'm like, it's not. If I could do all that stuff, I'm sure I can just calm down, not overthink it, and just keep going. It's not that bad.
When Catherine was born, she was very lethargic and there was a failure to thrive. So she actually just wanted to sleep. She was in the hospital for 10 days after she was born. She regained back up to her birth weight and they let her come home with that, but we still didn't know what was wrong with her. She did some blood work and 2.5 months later, we got the Prader-Willi syndrome diagnosis. Prader-Willi syndrome affects about 1 in 15,000 live births. There's developmental delay, but to me the biggest issue is food. It comes with an insatiable appetite. So Catherine is pretty well hungry the whole day. So we have to lock anything that has food, and it takes the anxiety away from her.
Sometimes anxiety, I'll get really nervous when it comes to like fun things.
There was no interest in anything. She just wanted to sleep. As Catherine got older, she wanted to be just like her older sister. Her older sister did sports at school, she wanted to do sports at school. So with sports, with being more active, it keeps her mind occupied. She started with basketball at school, and that kind of just led the way.
Well, basketball, you can play with more people, and then you can help them, like, score and have fun.
If she wanted to try out a sport, they were always very inclusive.
The basketball program here in Oakville, it's run through Special Olympics Canada. We accept athletes at all ability levels. We help them to perform at their best. We focus on fun and fitness, so that helps them make friendships and create social networking opportunities for them.
Because of the sports and because she's a very social person, it's really brought her out of her shell.
I'm ongoing. I like to be a good peer leader, and I'm good to be around with. I teach them how to play so then they can have fun, learn new skills, and be able to do the skills as much as I do.
The biggest strength of the program is diversity. Everybody's an athlete first. They're all here to enjoy and learn.
I meet new people every time. That's how I roll.
Catherine's learning to be a little bit more patient with directions. She's really comfortable in figuring out what the procedures are and how the practice should be run. And sometimes she has her own views, so she'll try and take over, or she'll address one of the coaches and say, hey, you know, why don't we do this, or we should be doing that.
Sure, why not? Why not? I guess I'll help lead. Or let others lead as well, because I can't do everything.
I see her at her happiest. I see her trying, and I see the obstacles in front of her. She doesn't see any of that. I've actually learned a lot from her because she doesn't accept things just at face value. She's going to do what she wants to do, or she's going to try, and she keeps at it.
Well, there's always going to be a challenge in sports because some people are going to be stronger and faster, but you're just going to keep going. Because then you're never going to get something out of it if you just quit.
Places like Regent Park, they've been pocketed off a little bit, in which it's a place that people go through every day because it's downtown. They may drive through it, but nobody really knows what's happening, and people sort of assume that what's happening in those sorts of communities, people keep it to themselves, and it's just there. Some of the sort of transformative or revitalization projects that are happening here are very focused on changing the perception of how people view this community.
Regent Park has a history of violence and criminal activity, but what people don't see is there's a strong community together. It's beautiful, I'm gonna be honest.
The sports programs are some of the best activities to help make those perceptions change. This program, we call it CNH Ball Hockey. It started a few years ago. I was looking for different community programs in which we could hold it, and CNH was the best spot just because of how open they are to different programs and different types of initiatives.
Obviously in the winter, like if you don't have skates, you can't play almost, right? So having a space to play ball hockey, it's nice to have CNH offer that program.
We've sort of had a good mix of guys that are younger and guys that are somewhat older. What that's been able to create is a good mix of the young guys feeding off some of the older guys. Some of the guys, when they came in here first, they grabbed the stick for one of the first times, right? And they're like, okay, how do I use this? And through sort of everybody helping them out and noticing, okay, this is somebody that's new to the program, let's welcome him into the sport that we all love, they've been able to sort of grow into becoming people that play it just like everybody else. You know, they're passing it well, they're shooting well, they're able to understand what hockey is and some of the plays that everybody wants to make. I know it's hockey that they're coming here to play, but a lot of the conversations you hear are things about university or things about going to school, things about the workforce or job force, right? Which some of the older guys are able to supplant to the younger guys.
Physically, obviously sport is definitely a great way to get in shape, but mentally it brings people together just as the basketball does. It brings people together and allows them to open up and have conversation.
As a kid, like I just love playing basketball. So I was looking for like a community center where we could just have a day or two just to play basketball. On the weekdays we used to come, and then they just opened up Saturday and Sunday for the kids.
I'm not from Regent Park. I just started coming here. Obviously I had common interests like basketball and those kind of things, and they welcomed me with open arms.
It doesn't matter like what background you have or whatever. When you're playing sports, like everyone's kind of together, everyone's having fun together. Everyone's just, it's like a family almost.
What doesn't happen enough is celebrating the good things that are here. We see that the community should come together over the good things that people do, over the accomplishments that one of our fellow people have. The strength for Regent Park comes from how much the togetherness that everybody knows each other. It's very true in the sense that we all understand where we come from. When someone says, I'm from Regent Park, or when someone says, I do a lot of things in Regent Park, that's where the strength of Regent Park really shines, when everybody chips in, does their part to help each other, support each other, and each goal that we're able to accomplish is something that we all can share.
I'm a psychotherapist. I work for a partnership agency with the TDSB called Skylark Children, Youth and Families. And so my role is basically as a psychotherapist to provide counseling and support services to the students currently at Northern. I'm in a unique vantage point by being able to be a psychotherapist, but also they know me as Dale.
Dale, I would describe him as he was a jack of all trades almost. Along with being a school counselor, he was also intimately related to actually the school culture in general. You can't describe Northern without describing Dale Callender. My first interaction with Dale was not through athletics or not through actually utilizing his services as a youth counselor. It was just that he had an open door policy in his office at Northern. There would always be other students, teachers, and Dale always in the office.
We used to get appointments scheduled through the guidance staff, and they would give us a weekly appointment schedule to meet and outreach with kids. Now 75% of the kids are just showing up at my door to book their own appointments.
And someone who kind of myself struggles with anxiety, it was really an opening for me to go into an environment where I can be there with my peers discussing what's going on in a very kind of safe, supportive environment. And Dale's kind of asking us what's happening within the school, how we're feeling.
By reducing stigma and creating less barriers to support, that also means normalizing in terms of what it means to get help or being able to speak to someone that maybe you have a different level of trust with or connection with. So how do we do that? Well, being in a school environment, natural sort of activities that are taking place within school, whether that's drama-related activities, student council-related activities, and a large component of that is sport. When we look at sport, we look at the aspects of sport to be able to help young adults. Look at football, we look at there's a structure to that, there's a discipline to that, we give leadership opportunities. Those are all aspects that, when people put on a job application.
Football was a huge aspect of my life. I think sports in general was a big part of my life. It was something that I always felt very comfortable in, where I had kind of the skills and ability to go out and be with other people. And in general, sports really kind of gave me the foundational habits that I continue to use today to be successful in my career and my personal life. Sport was able to give me that confidence where if I did kind of fail, I had my teammates around me to give me that support and help bring me up, which I probably wouldn't have experienced otherwise.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out.
We're looking for people that are responsible. We're looking for people that are ethical, are being able to have a discipline, to be on time, to complete a task. I think sport is one of those things that certainly nurtures and brings out that, especially with young people, that they don't know, tapping the potential that they may have or may not know they have. So sport is one of those outlets.
And I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again.
Sport is very humbling because winning is rare and it comes with a lot of hard work. It allows you to take failure and make it into kind of a strength and how you're going to succeed later on.